Hello, hello, hello. This is another episode of Raise Your Frequency, and I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas. And today, what we're going to talk about is about the energetic perspective on illness. The energetic perspective is that we can only do so much to prevent disease. And so, for example, my dad has been active his whole life. He started when Jack LaLanne first opened his European health spa in 1969, a couple of miles down the road here. He was first in line to join, and unlike other gym card holders, he used to go religiously 4 times a week. And he had his, gym bag always there, and he'd get home from work and dash off to the gym for an hour. So he was doing that religiously, and he was very careful with his food and his supplements and everything. And up until this last year, he's been in pretty good health, and his mental faculties have been really sharp and all there, and he's about to turn 88. So that's pretty awesome. He's prevented major diseases, but he's done a few things now lately in the last 5 years that have caused some issues. And it's really difficult to get an old person like him who has established habits already to start shifting into new things. Sorry, my cat is very excited to be here. So anyway, so the deal is that illness starts long before you actually get it. So the energetic perspective is that if I can do a reading on you, I can tell, and you also kind of instinctively know, you can tell what's happening. Like if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling stressed out, if you are in some amount of pain, like you have some sort of inflammation pain like arthritis, or if you have diabetes, or if you have high blood pressure, you know that these are warning signs of things that are going or about to happen. So by taking care of these and nipping in the bud, and not just taking medication, but doing things, you can do active things to prevent problems from happening. And for example, my inheritance is that I have a tendency to have high blood pressure. So if I don't monitor it frequently and exercise regularly, it can shoot right up through the roof. And your adrenal glands, for example, have a hormone in them that's a vasoconstrictor that will raise your blood pressure. So I have to be careful with that, and I monitor it closely. I don't take any medication. So what medication does, it just a Band-Aid. It covers, you still have something going on underneath, and all it does is cover it over so you can't see the problem anymore. So that's another energetic perspective. So the solution back then for me 25 years ago when I had the high blood pressure was I first took a homeopathic remedy that helped lower my blood pressure, and then I started taking steps to reduce the amount of stress and tension in my life. And I didn't even know that I was under that much tension, except that I would clench my teeth all the time. And so little actions like the way I held myself, stiffly, and the teeth clenching, and, the running around all of the time and trying to get everything done, that was a lot of stress. But I didn't know that there was any other way to be until illness forced me to be that way. In other words, I would lay in bed and I'm thinking to myself, all that stuff that's not getting done. But guess what? The earth still kept rotating. My kids kept being my kids and kept loving me. And my home was still standing, and I was still able to feed myself. So really, the world didn't stop because I didn't get all of those things that were keeping me in nervous tension going. So that's the energy perspective. And now, 25 years later, I still am really careful about everything because I know one small mistake at this age can really create a problem. And it's likewise, some of you may or may not know that my husband went in for open heart surgery last September. And that was stuff that had happened over, basically, he started with full body pain at the age of 13. And he's the same age I am. We're both 66. We went to high school together. And we didn't get married until a little more than 5 years ago. So we dated back then, and we were lab partners in our physics class. And so that's how we met, right? So he started smoking at that early of an age, and he was also he's gluten intolerant, and his favorite food was noodles. So, it was noodles all the time, and he was in full body pain. So he was taking prescription painkillers, and then later blood pressure, and later cholesterol pills. He became a diabetic. All of this because he wasn't paying attention to the warning signs, which we didn't know back then. And the energetic perspective is that it's cause and effect. Every time you have a problem that's throwing your body off the healthy equilibrium, there is a cause to it. So there was something that I said last night in my certification class, and that is that the body, and you may know this, the body seeks homeostasis. And so what that means is that it always tries to keep its values within a small range. Like your pH is regulated within a very small range. pH is the amount of acidity in your blood, or the amount of calcium. It tries to keep it in a certain small range. And by doing a calcium blood test, it's very difficult to tell whether your diet is deficient in calcium, because you have a huge calcium deposit in your body. And if you don't eat enough, your bones will start leaching out that calcium. So it's really difficult to tell when your body is off, because it is trying to maintain itself. And the reaction of every illness that you have is its attempt to maintain itself. So from an energy perspective, when I do a reading on someone and I see that there is something that I call dark, meaning it doesn't have the full amount of energy in it that it should have in order to function optimally, and then I correct it, I'm actually preventing the problem. And then I give advice on preventing the problem from going further. And of course, you never know, was I going to get cancer? Was I going to get heart disease? Was I going to get a stroke? Because you're staying in that healthy zone by maintaining the energy, for example. And you can do this yourself. One of the most common problems in stressing out and giving yourself